Are you stuck with these low-paying UGC retainer deals that pay you less than $1,000 a month and you're struggling to find actually high-paying deals? Well, I remember when I first started, I didn't know where to find these high-paying programs and I was honestly pretty lost. And now I'm consistently making anywhere from 8 to 10K a month while only working 2 hours a day with tech companies that actually respect my time and pay me well. In this video, I'll talk about what a good deal looks like, how much money you can make, and where to find them. I'll also talk about how to set up a system of inbound deals and referrals. And just to tell you a little bit about myself, I mostly work with B2C AI companies, and I've worked with brands like Cluely, Turbo AI, Whisperflow, Jobright, and Mathos. I also have several UGC accounts over 1,000 followers that consistently make me several $1,000s a month each. I'll also talk about websites like SideShift and Home from College and why you should generally avoid them, and I'll also mention how you can work directly with startups. That way you can make a lot of money. First, let's define what a good UGC deal is in terms of organic tech UGC. So a good deal will pay you anywhere from $25 to $35 a video on average base, not including bonuses. But if you're a really good creator who has several thousand followers on their personal account and has good fundamentals of content, you can get paid anywhere from $100. And I didn't just make this spreadsheet, by the way. This spreadsheet is directly from Polymarket. They pay their top creators $100 base. Next, let's talk about the bonuses. So a good UGC deal is structured to where you make on average $1 per 1,000 views. For a brand like Cluely, you'll notice they actually pay you $3 for 1,000 views, but then it kind of tapers off as you reach the millions. And now bad UGC deals. The reason I call them bad is that, you're making more than minimum wage. It's just that you could be making so much more money. For example, I get inbounds from Taller all the time. I have a lot of friends who get inbounds from this one app, Taller, all the time. And they pay $750 to create 2 short form videos a day. And if you're a brand new UGC creator, this is not actually that bad of a deal because you make maybe, $10 to $20 a video on average if you include view bonuses. But for myself, I can pretty respectfully charge, anywhere from $30 to $100 base per video. Also, websites like SideShift and Home from College, they pay less than $20 per video. And not to say that's bad, but if you're a good UGC creator or you want to turn UGC into a business where you can work, just 2 hours a day and make almost 5 figures or actually make 5 figures, then these deals they don't cut it. Next, let's talk about different deal types and which ones are the best. So the best deals are the ones that pay you a base. I would really avoid the ones that pay you a monthly retainer and they tell you a number of videos to make. We can go back to Taller, for example. They say 2 videos a day at $750 a month. The reason they say that is because they don't really want you to think about the fact that you're getting paid less than like $10 per video. And again, I'll reiterate this part. If you're a really good UGC creator or you have a personal page with a lot of followers, man, this is really a gold rush for you because you charge like $70, $100 base per video. And again, this chart, I didn't just make it up. This is from a company called Ostium. They're a trading platform and they are looking for really experienced creators. Next, we can talk about Jobright. So Jobright is a company that I work for right now. They pay a $30 base and they give you, about a $1 CPM, which is $1 per 1,000 views. But if you look at the beginning, it's actually a lot more. $20 for 5,000 views, that's like a $4 CPM. But you can see these are really competitive deals. And good programs should generally include coaching, active replies, and community. And I'll speak about each one in specific. So coaching is important because no matter how good of a creator you are, you can always get better. And generally, most good programs have really talented coaches who have maybe 50 to 100,000 followers on their main page, and they understand the fundamentals of content, and they also understand the fundamentals of UGC and how to sell a product to someone. Active replies are also important because, what's the most demotivating thing in a UGC program? It's when you're sending in a video for approval and you get a reply back the next week. Like that's the worst. I want to send in a video, get a reply back within 3 hours, and post it right away because that way I have a sort of a business that I can actually rely on. And community, I'll touch on this more in a bit, but community is important because it gives you a network that you can refer to. So, let's say one UGC program shuts down for one reason or another, or maybe you have more time on your hands and you can take on another program. You can just reach out to people in the community and be like, hey, I know we work for Jobright together, but can you refer me to one of your other programs? So that's a really big perk of being in a good program. So as a rule of thumb, you should be aiming for $1,000 base from a UGC program that averages out to $30 per video, and that's about $30 per month. And another thing you want to consider is that more videos from one company is better. So let's say Cluely is giving me the opportunity to post 3 videos a day, and another company is giving me the opportunity to post 1 video a day. I would rather work for Cluely rather than work for that company and 2 other companies, because it's much easier to batch content. It's much easier to just kind of know what kind of content you're talking about. Because if you're shifting, ICPs, like let's say you're selling a study app, and then you're selling like a dating website, and then you're selling like some sort of a AI coding tool. It's really hard to like mentally shift. Like, okay, hey, now I'm selling to this person. Now I'm selling to this person. Now I'm selling to this person. So that's just another thing you want to consider. Also, competitive view bonuses. This is like, man, $1 per 1,000 views. If you're getting paid less than this, I mean, I would honestly take 50 cents per 1,000 views if the program is really good. There's like really good coaching. But if you're taking less than this, like, you really got to consider it. Like, if you're getting paid like 10 cents per 1,000 views, you're getting scammed. I'm sorry to break it to you. Now let's talk about ways to actually land deals. So there's these kind of main methods. There's open to everyone websites. There's invite-only communities. There's the Sasha method, which is probably one of the best methods in the space that nobody talks about because they either don't know about it or they're gatekeeping. And then we also have inbounds and kind of the startup and app space method. So open to everyone websites. Let's talk about SideShift. So I know I'm kind of harping on SideShift. SideShift is a good tool to find deals and to receive payouts for deals. But the thing is, like as a new creator, it's really hard to stand out in a pool of a bunch of other candidates, which is why you're probably going to end up taking these deals that pay you $500 a month. And I'm not to say this is bad, you make more than a minimum wage job, but as a UGC creator, respectfully, you could be making, $5,000 a month. My little brother, who's 14, he started a few months ago, and he's going to hit his first 3K month at 14. Like that's more than some people make from their full-time job. Also, I would avoid working with apps like they send you these inbound DMs. Like not to say Taller is a bad company. I know the owner or the growth operator of the app, but $750 to create 2 short form videos a day, that's just not ideal, because making 2 videos a day, say that takes you 30 minutes or maybe an hour, that averages out to maybe like $20 an hour. But if I work for a company like Jobright or Cluely, I can make maybe 3 videos in an hour and they pay me $30 per video. That's like probably $100 an hour minimum. And next, let's talk about invite-only communities. So this is a pretty solid choice. I should have put like S tier and like B tier by the rankings. But anyways, so UGC Tank, this is an excellent way to get started if you are an intermediate creator. So you can apply here and they'll accept you, and they have it's like SideShift, but it's a private job form because they don't want to accept just like anyone. Next, we have like kind of like private or like semi-private Discords. These you don't necessarily have to pay for. For example, this is the revenue room, the UGC revenue room. They post deals here occasionally, but a little kind of problem is that you have to apply, and generally like it's better to know people, otherwise you're not guaranteed to get in. But if you're in these communities, it's pretty simple to get deals. Also, really big UGC programs, I would consider that these basically act as almost like invite-only communities. For example, when the Cluely UGC program was running, they had, I think, 200 creators, and if I wanted to take another deal, I would just message one of the 200 creators, be like, hey, can I join your program? Because I have more time on my hands. It's like, yeah, sure, join this program. I'll refer you. Next, let's talk about the Sasha method. The reason I call it the Sasha method is because this is the method that my brother used, my 14-year-old brother used to hit his first 3K month. It is genuinely so overpowered, and the reason I'm saying this is because it kind of relies on the fact that a lot of app founders and startup founders don't really know the semantics, the details of how to run a UGC program. What they tend to do is just hire their friends or message people on Instagram and be like, hey, can you work for my company? And the reason I know this is because I go to San Francisco. I go to San Francisco every quarter. I meet people who are in the startup space, in the app space. That way I can get placed into UGC programs. I can place my students into UGC programs. So let's talk about the Sasha method. So you want to train your algorithm to only show you UGC videos. And the first is what this requires is you're scrolling on Instagram, and let's say you see a polymarket video or a turbo video. You want to like it, you want to comment something, and you want to watch the whole thing through, maybe a couple times, maybe even message the creator. and just like for the engagement, so the algorithm knows you like the video. And once you have a algorithm that's trained to only show you UGC videos, I can pull up a video later, but I have an account which is like specifically designed for this, and every single video I can scroll and it's just UGC videos. And the reason why this is good is because you can message the creators that are like working for these companies and be like, hey, I noticed you're working for this company. How is the program treating you? Like, do they pay well? Are the coaches nice? And they're gonna be like, yeah, I love the coaches. You know, they pay pretty well. And at that point, you want to ask for a referral, or at the very minimum, just be like, hey, how can I become like you? And they'll give you some advice. And most of the time, they just send you a referral link because they actually get a kickback if they refer a really talented creator. Next, let's talk about inbounds and referrals. So my account has maybe 4,200 followers. Across all my pages, my YouTube, my TikTok, I have about 10,000 followers. And that's actually like not a lot in the grand scheme of things. But you can get so many inbounds from just this like little amount because brands are constantly looking for creators. And the problem is they like brands that actually pay well, they avoid websites like SideShift because SideShift generally produces like these like mid-tier creators. So they look directly from the source. Like they'll just scroll, like they have an intern scrolling looking for like the best creators, and they ask the intern just like the message to people. And the reason why I'm describing this process to you is because I've been in this position. I know people who literally do this. Like it's their job to just full-time onboard UGC creators. So like that's how I know that this method will work if you have a pretty decent personal page. Also referrals. This is kind of connected to the Discord servers and it's sort of these private communities. It's a really great way to land deals because people like sharing deals with each other. They get referrals. They get like kind of kickbacks from referring creators. So if you know people in the UGC space, that's your best bet on how to get started. Finally, let's talk about the startup and app space. This is kind of a bonus. I don't really notice people talking about this because they're either not tapped in or they're trying to gatekeep this from you. So if you work with startups and apps directly, especially with the founders, you can make a lot of money because they will pay you what you are worth. Like they're not gonna like skimp out on you when they have like this huge program. Like, you know, for example, Turbo, when they first started out, they were paying their creators, you know, anywhere from like $40 to $30 per video base. But now they pay them $20. And the reason being, you know, not because they're scamming people, but it's because they have such a like kind of a well-oiled system of how to train a creator. So for them, the reason they don't pay people $40 anymore, now they pay them $20, is because they can basically train a creator up. It's like McDonald's. Like McDonald's pays people minimum wage because they know they can train anyone up to be in that kind of status. But when you approach like one of these apps, you're almost like you're a freelancer. You're like a strategic hire. Like they're willing to pay you more. And I'll give you an example. You know, this app right here, they offered to pay me maybe like $10 per video, which I obviously said no to. But then I hopped in a call with the founder or one of the growth guys, and I was like, hey, I'm actually really good at UGC. You know, I've generated like 20 million views in the last couple of months. Can we work something out here? Like I want to work for you guys, but $10 won't cut it. And I ended up negotiating to $100 base. Like, are you kidding me? I literally 10x my salary because I positioned myself as a good creator. And that's really easy to do with these kind of small UGC programs. Another app I want to mention is Ask API. So Ask API is a venture-backed company. So they have money from investors and they are willing to pay a lot for talented UGC creators. For example, they offered me $50 per video and I said no because I don't have time to take on more deals. But yeah, you got to consider like companies like this are funded. They're VC backed, so they get, for example, $500,000 for 7% of their app's equity, and their goal is to literally grow the app as fast as possible. So you know they're willing to be like, I don't want to say careless, but they will pay you like a good amount of money, maybe like $50 or $100 base per video, if you're a talented creator and you're willing to deliver them clients. Thank you for watching this video on how to land high-paying Tech UGC deals. If you have any questions, shoot me a DM on Instagram.